Let me start with you because from what I understand, an area the size of Connecticut is being searched. I mean, just walk us through all the challenges with this particular rescue mission, from water pressure to oxygen levels.
There are a tremendous number of challenges, which is part of what makes this search so difficult. A joint effort between the U.S. Coast Guard and the Canadian Coast Guard and Canadian Armed Forces to search not only on the surface of the water, but also below the surface of the water. In terms of searching on the surface, there are and have been C-130s, so long-range, long-endurance patrol aircraft from both the Americans and the Canadians that have essentially likely just been flying back and forth, searching the surface of the water for any sort of debris, or perhaps if the submersible is floating on top of the water without communications. So that would be likely the role of C-130s in this case. Again, they can stay up for a tremendously long amount of time, searching a large area of the surface of the water. But of course, the far more challenging search is underneath the surface of the water. And that's where the U.S. and the Canadians have used P-8s, and our colleague Jason Carroll has reported P-3s. Those are anti-submarine aircraft able to essentially detect the mass of an enemy submarine below the surface of the water using different means, either detecting it magnetically or detecting the sound of it. The challenge here, of course, is that this submersible is far smaller than an enemy submarine, even if this submersible wants to be found. In terms of how the P-8 would search, it would drop what are called sonar buoys in different spots throughout the search area. Sound travels very well underwater, so if there's any sound coming from the submersible itself, not only would it be able to hear it with these sonar buoys, but it can figure out, if a few of them pick up any sort of acoustic signature, where it is based on sort of a triangulation of where that sound came from. That, of course, assumes that there is any sort of sound coming from the submersible itself, and that just adds to the challenge here. You can also use sonar to scan the bottom of the water. Of course, that too comes with its own challenges, because there's already the wreckage of the Titanic down there, and you'd have to somehow differentiate between that and the submersibles. So Zane, there are a whole host of challenges presented in trying to find this submersible, challenges that the militaries here, the Coast Guards, are trying to figure out in terms of how to search as efficiently and as quickly as possible, knowing the limitations of the submersible itself.
Okay, let me bring you in. I mean, this was supposed to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, you know, to be able to travel several miles down to the bottom of the ocean and tour the Titanic wreckage. Just explain to us what it is actually like inside one of the submersibles, as we try to imagine what the 5 people on board this vessel must be seeing and feeling and thinking at this point in time.
Yeah, so Zane, I reported several stories on OceanGate during my time reporting in Seattle, Washington, and in 2018 I actually did a story about Titan, about this submersible that's now missing. We went out to the OceanGate headquarters, and we were able not just to interview the crew, but also, as you can see, sit inside the vessel. And I was struck first by how simple, almost rudimentary, a lot of the technology on board really seemed. You know, this is a tiny vessel. It's quite cramped. It can only fit 5 people. And it's operated by a gaming controller, actually piloted with a gaming controller, what looks like a PlayStation controller. And yet the company, OceanGate, was confident, extremely confident, that they could safely make this journey to the Titanic inside that vessel, dive 13,000 feet down in the ocean. And they said that its frame could handle the 150 million pounds of pressure that it would feel at the ocean floor. The company's CEO, Stockton Rush, who CNN has confirmed is one of the people on board this missing vessel, according to a source with knowledge of the mission plan. He told me that the pressure vessel with its carbon fiber structure, that it could handle the pressure of the ocean. Of course, at this point, we don't know what went wrong, but a lot of work went into designing Titan. OceanGate worked with NASA, they say, and Boeing to design the vessel, and said they did not cut any corners when it came to costs or safety.
All right, Gabe Cohen, live for us there, Aaron Liebman, thank you both so much.